Kipsang next to him. And there's the pace setters, Stewie McSweyn, American Eric Sawinski, Akbash, and the reigning world champion at 5,000 meters, reigning Olympic champion at 1,500 meters, and he only needs his first name on his bib because everybody knows Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
Of all the superlatives and all the ways we can describe him, I think that says it best, Paul. Single name, first name.
And right away, you'll notice too, Trey, the pace setters and Jakob on the inside of the track. And I've sat next to you in many races where you've talked about how far you actually run a race. Starting at the outside where those pacers and the favorite usually are would just mean you're going to run an additional distance to the 1,500 meter distance.
Exactly. It's an extra 7 meters per lap. So about 3.5 meters per curve. And in the technical meeting, this was all about Jakob and all about this attempt. You can see, I mean, there's a lot going on the track still at this point. We've got the high jump, the javelin, and the pole vault all going on, and they want to make sure this goes off without a hitch.
The 3-ring circus now gives way to the 1 ring that these runners will race around. 1,500 meters, the metric mile. We have to put it out there. The world record, 3 minutes and 26 seconds, set back in 1998. Hisham El Garouche of Morocco. And we'll just keep an eye, again, on these pace setters, Akbash, Sawinski, and McSweyn. Those pace lights, which we haven't talked much about here, Trey, you know, affords another way for the runners to see where they are. The blue lights, the lights for the pacers, and the green light, really the target time, which is 3:27. We just know that that 3:27 is just set out there so he can know if he wins the race with the green lights at the end, he could be in a position to set the world record.
And he'll pay no attention to that in the first 3 laps, but it's that last 3/4 of a lap where it's going to be Jakob versus the lights as we watch the 3 front runners, the front pace setters. You know, if you want the trains to run on time, you want Eric Sawinski up there in that pace setting formation.
And McSweyn takes a look over his shoulder, and we don't see Ingebrigtsen right on top of those guys, but they're running swiftly. 54.62, Trey, was the first 400 for the pace setter. El Garouche ran 55 seconds for his opening 400 when he set the world record. Akbash now setting aside, as Eric Sawinski was a very popular pace setter on the circuit for these 1,500 meter distances. The 800 meter specialist, native of Iowa, is now going to head down the backstretch. They come through 1:50.72, just a hundredths of a second quicker than what El Garouche ran back in '98.
And I think Jakob did the exact right thing in that opening lap. He felt like it was a little too hot, a little too quick, and let them string it out a little bit. Let the pacers move through and kept that a little bit of a buffer between him. And now you've got Stewie McSweyn, a classy 1,500 meter runner, dragging Jakob into the next and final lap here coming up.
El Garouche was 2:32.73 with a lap to go. As they come to the line, it's right on schedule. 1 lap to run in this metric mile. McSweyn dragging Jakob Ingebrigtsen towards history. Kipsang back in second as McSweyn will now take it off the track. 1,200 meters, and he's right on world record pace down the backstretch.
He's got to time the emptying of the tank perfectly here, Paul. Does he go with 200 or 150 or 120? Where does he hit the red line? And can he do it? Here we go. 150 meters to go, Paul.
As he comes off the final turn, less than 100 to go. That green light right on 3:27 pace. Wins this one easily. Now it's all against the clock. As he comes to the line, it will be 3:27.14. It will not be a world record, but it's a new lifetime best, new European record. and the fastest time in the world this year, and 3:27.14 moves him past Nourdine Morsali as now the third fastest man in history in the metric mile.
And there he goes. He gets all of the boards. That was just so impressive, not just for the time, not just how he raced, but his ability to keep everything in check. If he had stuck with that opening lap pacemaker, he may not have had anything in the tank to do this. This is a near 1 second personal best in the 1500 for a man that's kind of done everything. It was him versus himself, and he's so in tune with his body. He knew exactly what he needed to do, exactly how it should have felt. And the competitor that he is, Paul, I'm sure he's going to be just a little disappointed, which is just incredible to say. A new personal best. Climbing up the world all-time ranks, the fastest anyone's run in 8 years. Just incredible.
So the fourth fastest man in history takes the win here in the men's